no up and down, left and right difference between it.
But
It
you
is
don't have walls on the left and the right. It's more like a floor and a ceiling with no walls to the left and the right merging.
everyone
It's
knows
going to give you a line.
object gets further away, it uniformly shrinks in size. Everyone knows that. And you sitting here and arm waving and talking about, the ground convergence, it's all absolute bollocks. It's a real
But
joke.
we already addressed that by saying that you have to have equal room on all sides. Now, if you're close to a wall to the left, the same principle would apply, and it would appear to merge into the
There's
wall
no
to the
wall
left if you're
out over the
wall
ocean.
to the left, and there's no other obstruction. But the only obstruction is the flat ground beneath your feet.
Walls
So
on the
things
left.
are going to tend to converge into the flat ground beneath your feet.
There's no walls on the left and right. So what do you mean that there's no room?
If you're closer to the obstruction, like a wall to the left and the right, and stuff is away in the distance, it's the same principle. It would converge into the limiting surface. In this case, the wall to the left or the right, if there's no other obstruction to
There is
deal
an
with.
obstruction. It's called the horizon, and it's called the bulge of the Earth. So you just invoked obstruction. You just admitted that anything that stops the light is an obstruction.
There's nothing obstructing the train tracks. The train tracks appear to go and converge up towards your horizon, but no further due to angular resolution and perspective over a flat plane.
The angular resolution has no directionality to it. You need to get your word salad and your performance art down on written
It
down.
will have a directionality if it is the only obstruction and you are closer to the flat surface than left, right, or up in the sky.
What obstruction are you talking about?
The flat surface beneath your feet.
That is not an obstruction. I stand up.
It limits your vision.
I can draw a line to that flat surface. There is no obstruction on a flat surface. That's the whole goddamn.
The thing is, it's limiting the lower half of your vision. It's limiting the angles available to the lower half of your vision. So in that way, it acts as an obstruction since it doesn't allow you to see further because it's in the way of that ample visual field.
Limiting nothing limiting the access to the lower half of my vision. That's just
You're too close to the surface, and the narrow angles are making it so that angular resolution in the lower half of your vision is scrunching up really.
Hang on, I have something to present, some visual proof of what you're actually saying, Lemon. So I'm going to post a few pictures in the debate chat box, and we're all going to take a look at them and marvel at things disappearing bottom up on a flat surface.
Take it away, Jay.
Give me 1 second, Lemon. This is what you've been saying the whole time, essentially. I've just done a little photography on my kitchen table. The table is flat. It's a flat table. Here we go. Here's the first picture I took. See, block on the table, flat. It's nice. The table's nice and flat, I assure you. If anyone has doubts, I can, get a spirit level out or something. So there's the first picture. Here's the second picture. I just zoomed in a little bit. Zoomed in on the picture that I had already taken. Okay, there, and we're going to do this in progression. I have another picture. Another zoomed in picture of the picture I've taken. And here's the final picture. Now, if I can draw your attention to the lengths of the lines, that outline, let me just put another, just so you guys know I'm not playing games on you. Here's a picture of the actual block from a top-down view. Notice the red outline on the block. It's the same length all the way around. The red outline outside of the J. Okay, but if you'll notice, if you want to, get a ruler out or anything, you can measure the last picture I zoomed in on. The red line on the bottom is actually shorter. Has less length on the bottom than it does.
It's also less length in the middle picture as well that you're not so zoomed in on, and it's also less on the first picture. So I'm not sure what you're saying here. I'm not sure what's it supposed to mean.
Notice how the reflection is shorter than the actual objects on the top. The image of the reflection on the bottom is converged too.
Not the reflection. The lines the lines on the bottom, the line on the bottom on the perimeter of this block, the red line on the bottom is not the same height as the red line on the top.
In all three photos.
Yes.
And was
That's
this
the point.
Was this right at the end of the table? Was it in the somewhere? Because I think it's off the edge a little bit.
You think the block was on the edge? It was I was over the distance of the table.
Here, look. I mean, well, I suggest you get your spirit level out.
You don't think my table's flat? Okay, hold on.
Well, it needs to go across the whole length. I mean, you got a problem here because it's a long table, right? So you need to show that the table's flat across the whole length.
Yeah,
and also it also just might be that your table's sitting on level floor as well, Jeremy.
Okay, I know.
Well, functionally, the table would have to be level. If the table was not functionally level, things would be falling off of it. So it's a little absurd to imply that it's not level.
Depends on how offline it is, there, Lemon.
And I'm not talking about
this.
We
have this block
table being level. Is it? Have you put a straight?
If I had
edge
a
on it
long,
to make sure it's. Have you put a straight edge on the tabletop to make sure it's not undulating?
Yes, it might be both. Because I've done this experiment as well, and it never hides anything. I mean, if it's
it's hiding the. Oh, hold on. Why is the line shorter on the bottom than on the top? The outline, the red outline.
Jeremy, other people have done the same experiment and found nothing hidden. So we have to figure out why yours is we have to figure out why yours is the outlier. We can't use yours.
It's not the outlier.
Well, it is
not the outlier. This is how perspective works, and the angle of us to the red line, as opposed to the top
damn it, Jeremy.
red line.
Other people have done this experiment. Yours is an outlier because you're showing hidden.
Well, let me go get my spirit level, and I'll put it on this table. This is absolutely ridiculous, but I think I have a 6.
Jeremy, do you not understand what I've told you? You're saying that yours is the rule.
I'm just showing you how it can happen, how things disappear bottom up.
No, you're showing me an outlier to the rule.
No, I showed you how things. Absolutely not. I showed you how things disappear bottom up on a flat surface. This is why we don't trust these long-range observations.
On the table. You haven't really shown me anything really. You've shown me pictures of something on a table. That's about it.
Yeah. I've shown you pictures of something where the bottom appears to be disappearing.
And yet,
I've shown you pictures of something on my.
You can go find. Yeah, Jeremy, you can go find people doing this exact same thing and having no hidden. Why is yours an outlier?
You guys can deny the evidence all you want. There it is.
No, I'm telling you, there's no evidence.
Disappearing.
I'm saying that you're treating your sample set as the only one that is in existence.
Things are disappearing bottom up on flat surfaces.
Jeremy focuses on the lines to show how the lines are converging. Other people just focus on the whole object. So it's a totally different focus to show that things are converging.
The whole object is visible. It's the same fucking thing, Lemon.
But the object is also seen in sections, and the flat sections of the object do appear to be converging.
What are you talking about?
Jeremy talked about the red line at the bottom of the block next to the table. It appears to be converging into the table's surface.
You don't think other people have used square objects and done the same fucking thing, Lemon?
Nobody's focused on the line sections of the object to show that the sections of the object are converging into the flat surface.
Okay, so if I don't have a lined object, but the entire thing is still entirely visible, isn't that the same thing as it not reducing partially on one side?
No, it's just showing what's happening in a much clearer format by showing that the object is merging into the surface with flat surface sections to help us see what the phenomenon. That's all.
Okay, Lemon, once again, that makes no sense. You're saying that it's different for Jeremy simply because it's Jeremy.
No, it's the same for everybody, but these flat surface sections, these lateral lines help show the phenomenon much clearer that's happening with everybody.
They're just deniers. They're living in a river in Egypt called denial.
People have done this exact same thing.
It's going to take time to break this low conditioning. We can do this.
People have done this exact same experiment with multiple lines, Lemon, on square objects. This isn't something unusual. This is an outlier to the rule. And Jeremy is treating his sample size of 1 as the rule. That is the problem here.
Why
The
doesn't
only
the bottom red
outlier
line
is
reflect on
Jeremy's
the table surface?
interpretation to try to open up the door for a flat interpretation. The only thing
know
that's
what? That's
different
actually
is Jeremy's
Lou actually
interpretation
brought
of
up a
the
good
final.
point that you're talking over, Lemon. Why don't we see the red line? Why do we not see the bottom red line and the reflection?
Where did it
Because
go?
the
When your
image,
phone don't
the reflection is converging. Sorry, Jeremy, you were saying.
no forget we don't. Who cares about the reflection? Do I need to redo this whole thing and just put a black matte piece of paper
What,
under it?
Jeremy,
Well-
can I? What you're trying to say, I think, Jeremy, is you've got the red perimeter of that block, and the top of the top line there is thicker than the bottom line.
Yes. Eventually, if I had a longer table, you could do the same thing, and you would see the bottom red line. See how it's getting thinner? It would just keep getting thinner and thinner the farther you went away to it until it looked like the bottom of this block was disappearing. This is this is 6 feet. My table is 6 feet. I can show an object and start. Go
Why
ahead.
doesn't the bottom line reflect in the table?
Oh my God, I'm redoing it without the reflection.
Put it.
The
Well,
reflection.
they're saying that it should be a perfect reflection if it's perfectly flat, and it should perfectly
guys-
mirror the object.
If you
Yeah,
guys are
So,
saying something,
trying
We're
to
not
say that
saying
since
something
it's
about
perfectly
if you-
reflection, that there's undulations and imperfections in the table that need to be taken into account.
if you guys are saying something about the reflection making this effect on the bottom line, well, tell us what it is, because I don't know what it would do.
The imperfect reflection can result from being lower and closer to the surface of the table, not leaving enough room for the reflection of the table to be fully seen because of the narrow angle.
I was asking the other guys actually. Someone said, "What about the reflection?" And I was asking that. Why are you asking that? Why are you asking what about the reflection?
Should be able to see the reflection of the bottom line like you see the reflection of everything else.
Depends on how close you are to the surface. If you're too close to the surface, the bottom reflection does not have enough room to be resolved by the observer.
So not seeing the reflection of the bottom line, would that cause the bottom line to look thinner than the top line?
You're obviously closer to
Not
the
you,
surface
then.
than you are to the top of the object.
I was talking to
That
Jeremy?
makes no sense. Doesn't make any
Yes,
sense.
it does. If you're too close to the
that
surface, the bottom part of your vision will get too crowded and you won't be able to resolve the image properly. Jeremy, were you saying something?
For fuck's sake.
Silence.
Well, when I did the experiment, that's the result I got, and I marked those Jenga blocks with some rubber bands, and both of them are visible off in the distance of my flat table. So, yeah. You've got to put the
I mean,
obviously, you'd need to get further away.
obviously these
start to
observations
converge.
aren't. Obviously, the way we observe things
You know
can
what's cool?
manipulate the way they look. Obviously,
You can-
the way we observe things.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I did this experiment one time, and you can put the camera out of focus while you have it at its extended, view, and when you're looking at that, and you can see it'll look like it's dropping the object into the ground with the camera going out of focus. So if you focus the camera back in, you can see it just comes right back in. Put it out of focus, it'll drop back down.
So far we've got my table's not flat, my camera's out of focus. What else?
No,
you
I
got?
did the experiment. I did the experiment for everybody here a long time ago. Long ass time ago. You bringing this up?
Is the camera on top of the table, or is the camera down on the edge?
I even put my camera all the way halfway lensed underneath, almost where you could see that it was below the lens was half the lens was below the ground, and I still got the object to come in clearly. Below the I used a long speaker table. It was like 4 foot long, and a battery, and I made the battery melt down into the table. And I know Lemon remembers that because I showed it to him like 100 times.
Yeah, because the usual trick, of course, is to do the coin on the table.
I remember.
The camera below the table level, like in
And
that.
it ended up being a focus issue, not a resolution issue.
Well, the mechanism that the flat earthers are citing, things converging into the eye level of the optic, needs to be tested by finding out where the eye level of the optic is and how much of the object is distributed above the eye level of said optic and below the eye level of said optic to see how things are converging.
So, Jeremy,
Well,
You won't accept that data though.
Everett's posted a picture where he zoomed in and you can see the bottom of the block on the table. Doesn't look like it's hidden. Have you seen that, Jeremy?
Sure, I see it right now. It doesn't look like he's very far away. We don't know. Is that a red mark on the block?
That's your block, mate. That's your picture. He's taken a section of your picture, zoomed into where the block meets the table, and you can see that it's not hidden.
Hold on, maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing.
It's at 15 past the hour.
Oh, okay, yeah. We're on my picture here. They're saying nothing's hidden. Do you see how the red line on the bottom is getting smaller than the red line on the top?
Yeah, I see that effect.
Yeah.
But
with distance, it happens with distance. When you take it close.
Go ahead. Are you saying that's because part of the bottom red line's hidden?
When you take the photo close up, as I've showed in I think the last picture I posted, those lines are the same size. However, when with distance, that red line on the bottom keeps decreasing and decreasing until eventually, do you think you'll be able to see it anymore? I mean, we're talking about 6 feet right here. What happens if
you focus your camera?
What happens if we put that block? What happens if we put that block a mile away,
stay out of focus,
100 feet away?
Oh yeah, it'll look like it disappears if you stay out of focus.
Cause of that effect.
So the claim now is my camera's not in focus.
No, I'm asking you.
Is that what the claim is?
I'm asking you what you think the cause of that effect is. Are you saying that it's getting blocked by the table?
I'm telling you, because of the angle on the table, because we're so close to the surface, the bottom part is going to appear to disappear with distance.
But why? But
who cares why it happens?
No, I'll tell you why. You can focus in. You can stay right there. Hey, let me finish. You can stay right there. You can focus in on the edge of the table by focusing to an object closer. You can focus out to your object and look at it by focusing out, and then the table will blur again.
Okay,
that's just how that works.
The first claim was my table's not flat. Now the second claim is my camera's not in focus.
Look, we don't know.
You guys are getting nuts.
Actually, it's not a claim. It's not a claim that your camera's not in focus. It's a claim because I don't know what the hell you've done, but it's a claim about the experiment that I've done and how I've achieved the same objective as you, except for with a rational explanation. Thank you.
Not the crazy explanation that Lemon comes up with that is completely bogus and has no basis in any factual information we know about how optics works. Then he wants to do an experiment about it. Well, why don't you experiment about it and prove the point you're making, because it flies in the face of all knowledge of optics.
Jeremy just did. This is the beginning. The main thing is the light has to diffract through the optic into the eye of the camera in this case, and it has to focus on the sensor and be spaced enough apart on the sensor for the sensor to eventually interpret the image and render a 2D image. If the light is too crowded on the optic, like it would be with a narrow angle, with you being too close to the surface and trying to at the same time look out over the surface and form an angle, no image will be rendered once the light is crowded on the optic too much, and all you're going to get is an unresolvable light zone, like a horizon or something that is uninterpreted. And so basically the angle of the light as it an artifact the optic through the opening of said optic.
There's no directionality in optics. There is no directionality in optics. So you can't invoke this, it's the angle of the table, because
So basically the light has to enter through the optic at a wide enough angle to hit the sensor, be spaced enough far enough apart on the sensor, and then the sensor has to be able to read that light and render a 2D image readout when it makes the image. If the light is too crowded on the sensor because of the image, no resolution, no image formed horizon line.
Lenses are circular. The light coming in there comes in from all directions, in all sorts of angles. There's no peculiarity about the up and down
We've
part of
already
the
covered that.
Lemon, if that were true, Lemon, it would
Covered
happen
that
around
because
corners.
you don't have enough
Lemon.
room in the bottom part of your vision. You need to have equal room on all sides for what you say to work. That's not going to happen
Lemon.
if you're close to the surface and the bottom half of your vision is crowded.
Okay, if that were true, guys, then we would see the same effect that you see on the ground or the horizon on the edge of mountains when mountains are next to each other. We would see mountains unfolding into each other on the side if that were true, Lemon, which it's not, because we don't see mountains having horizons across other mountains on their on their vertical edges. All right.
Light reflected
But
off the
mountains have several different things going on. They have ice caps. Ice caps lead to refraction and lead to different visual things anyway. Over a flat plane, who knows what's going on with all of this refraction? That's why we prefer water. It's nice, flat, and level without all of those temperature inversions and crap.
And also perspective.
But what I'm saying, though,
takes distance into its factor. It's just how it works. But with the blocks, the little kids' blocks, ABC blocks or whatever, I think that's more of a reflection because it's such a short distance. The information from the bottom of the block with the furthest block is not reaching the viewer. It might be being reflected off the surface and going above the viewer's head with the information of the bottom red part of the section of block that's missing.
No, Rakia, what's happening is we have an angle to the top of the block and we have a different angle to the bottom of the block. The angle is changing. We have a wider angle of view on the top of the block. So the bottom of the block, you see how the line appears to get more thin? The outline, It's thin on the bottom. I measured it. Get your ruler out. You can measure that.
Whoa, Jeremy, did you just say you measured something?
Come on, man. Don't start attacking. He was in the middle of something.
Yeah,
come on.
I'm so glad. So you can take your tape.
Go ahead.
So you can take your tape measure out, measure the thickness of the outline on top, the top part, then measure the thickness of the bottom part, and you'll see that the bottom part is thinner. And this is only over a distance of, my table's like 6 feet long. If you could go out another 50 feet or something, you wouldn't even be able to see the bottom of the block because your angle would get so sharp to the bottom of that block that you'd only be able to make out the top part of the block.
Jeremy, are those 3 blocks in this photograph, are they the same distance away from the viewer? The camera?
Okay, here's what I did. You're going to have to scroll way back up. Scroll way back up to, hold on. 11,
Just
10,
answer it.
10.
Can you answer that question, though? Are those 3 blocks the same distance away from the camera?
Yes, all of the pictures I posted, the block is the same distance away. I just zoomed in on them. I took one with
zoomed in on them. How about focused?
No. Here's what I did.
I didn't think so.
I know.
Zoom is not focused. Totally separate.
Hold on. I didn't zoom in on the block. Hold on a second. I took a picture of the block far away. Then I went to that picture, zoomed in on that picture, and took a screenshot of it. Then I zoomed in on that picture and took another screenshot so that we could clearly see that the bottom block was getting thinner. Now, I don't know why you're saying my camera is not in focus. What makes you think that my camera is not in focus?
Because one of them has actually done exactly what it did for me when I did it out of focus intentionally over and over again to show the room that was the effect.
Is there any indications that my picture is out of focus?
You're like a year and a half late.
What indications do you have that my picture is not in focus?
Well, the last block is shorter.
There's only one block.
Yeah,
I don't think you're up to speed with
there's 3 blocks.
Happened.
I'm looking.
No, there's one block.
Okay,
there's another picture.
I'm looking at the same block.
Hold on.
I'm looking at
Jeremy,
the same block.
he knows it's one block. He's referring to blocks as
11:23, Jeremy. There's a side-by-side comparison of 3 blocks that I think he's referring to at 11:23 a.m. from S. Thurston. 3 images resized. Okay, but anyway, what he's talking about is immaterial because I can only focus so much light anyway. So the focus is immaterial. Eventually, the optic runs out of focusing capability anyway, and this phenomena will occur.
Yeah, our
Yeah, but
eyes
if you
do the
just,
same
yeah,
thing,
but if
and
he
the
would have just
angle of the
adjusted his
light plays
focus,
a huge part.
if he would just adjust his focus, the image would come back into the same place that the other
So,
two are.
so
at the
are you
same block.
denying that angle will create the same effect? I'm not saying that focus won't do it, but are you denying that angle and the angle of the light source won't?
Well, that's what the
cause
focus
the same
actually is
effect?
kind of. Yeah, well, you got to focus on what the focus is actually doing.
Yeah, but
Let's
no,
look up what
my
focus on a
question
camera
was
actually
very
does.
clear. Yeah. My question was very
Yeah, it
clear.
all depends on the angle of the light, right?
Thank you.
The shutters and the focus are what's doing that. Oh, excuse me.
Right, and when you have especially
And
a
down
high
the road,
any
Randy,
zoom
that's
camera.
Yeah, it's not
much light
a thing
red.
you actually see with your eye. It's an artifact of the camera only. So this isn't something he's
But
going to see with his eye happen at all. It's an artifact of the camera's mechanics. That's what it is.
Zoom cameras do some weird things too. Would you agree with that? Like, something can be appear to be
All cameras
obstructing
can
your
do
view.
weird things.
Right.
We can do all kinds of weird stuff with cameras.
We've
all
got an
lenses,
emergency
including
going
your
on here.
eyes, do weird things.
There's a city that's sinking into the sea. People, we need to know where this is, so we can actually go and call the authorities, because obviously it's being flooded.
All right, I've taken another picture of the block. Okay, I've changed my angle on the block right up close. You can once again pull out your ruler and measure that the top line is now thinner than the bottom line on the outline of this block.
My ruler's not that.
Okay, is my camera in focus or what?
That's foreshortening, perspective phenomenon, but they're not going to apply it to a flat plane and explain why eventually it would be interpreted as obstruction.
All right, let's see how honest you are, dude. Why don't you take it to the edge of the table there, put your camera out of focus, take a picture of it for us, put it back all the way into focus, and then take another picture for us and show us the difference. How about that?
Hold on. Your claim was that the bottom
else.
line. Your claim was that the bottom line was thinner because I was out of focus. My claim was it was the angle change. Okay, I've just shown the angle change and how the one of the lines got thinner. So what is the issue exactly?
Well, I've done a little bit more analysis now, and I actually dispute that the bottom is thinner. It's all about the shadow. So you're not really looking at the exact same thing. I measured one at 20 pixels and one at 19 pixels, which to me is the same.
You're saying the bottom line and the top line are the same thickness?
Because when on the top line you're seeing some of the beveled edge, and when I've adjusted brightness and contrast on your image, you can more clearly see where the front actually is, because some of that you're actually seeing the rounded edge on the top part of it. So, because did you actually use it?
There's a light coming from the top, Jeremy, because what the TT guys posted there looks like there's a shadow from the top line casted into the inset of the block.
Yeah, there's some shadow underneath, and there's some
which would make the top line look thicker, maybe. I don't know.
You guys are just out of control. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like,
well, see, the point is,
I took another picture after the guy said my camera was focused, and I said it was an angle change, and he said no, it's the focus. I took another picture, changing the angle to make it so you could see how an angle change makes the bottom line.
Ask you not to change the angle, though.
None of us
not to change the angle.
None of us here are experts.
Just to change the focus and show us a photo of the focus, but you didn't do that. So don't complain about how we're out of control. You're just
making shit. You're just making shit up.
Well, so are you. None of us here are experts on this particular matter. We're just all trying to sort it out. The point is, though, that you're saying that you've discovered some aspect of optics that no one in the world has ever discovered, and there's no mathematics to describe it. So that's why we're a little bit, a little bit skeptical about it. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and you're making an extraordinary claim, and we're examining the evidence. We're having some reasons about why it perhaps might not be true. That's the way research gets done. You're presenting your evidence, and you're now getting peer reviewed.
Did nobody notice that the sides of the block were the same width as the supposed shrunken bottom?
Oh, that's a good point. So what we're really seeing is an enlarged.
TT guy did a pixel evaluation, but he didn't make his pixel box large enough on the top. It's obviously more like 20 plus pixels on the top than what he measured.
Oh, I mean, how are you
That's
measuring
exactly
that
what
without
we
a
would expect to
background?
see if it were just out of focus, though.
The thing is,
there's an angle,
you can't focus forever,
Lemon,
so eventually the image will go out of focus and the resolving power of the optic will reach its limit. So that's just kicking the can down the road. After a certain time, you can't resolve the image anyway. So this mechanism is still going to be present eventually.
Yeah,
the mechanism is clearly.
Hold on, guys. It's my turn. Or that's what we would expect to see if we made an angle change, as I've demonstrated in my last picture I posted. Thank you.
Yeah, but you didn't, remember, because all of the edges were equally fattened, not just the bottom. So, ta-da.
No, the last picture I posted at 11:33 clearly shows that the angle change made one of the edges appear thinner than the other one.
One of them?
11:33, angle change. One side's thinner than the other.
One's closer to the camera. That's a perspective effect. Yeah,
of course. That's
perspective. Well, there's nothing extraordinary about that.
Well, perspective applied to the flat plane is going to be interpreted as obstruction. If there's too little object in the bottom part of your vision, you need to apply it to why objects appear to be obstructed, and that's because the bottom part of the object is
not
too
leaning
narrow.
away from you when they're disappearing, are they? They're not leaning away, so that argument doesn't hold.
Right, and like we said, this one clearly shows one edge fatter than the other at 11:33, but the others do not. They show all equal fatness on all red lines on the block. That you're only pointing out the bottom line to us of. So what's up with that?
The bottom line's converging into the surface. That's his point. That's the mechanism that he's exploring. You're just trying to poo-poo it and kick the can down the road by saying superior powered optics should be able to bring it back in, when eventually the light is going to be so crowded on the sensor, no image is going to be formed. The mechanism still appears to be very valid. Let's explore this further.
We are trying to explore it, and you keep poo-pooing everything we use to try to explore it.
Because we've explored it now, and we can see that there is no difference in the top and bottom.
I've not only explored it, but I've repeated it. Actually, I did it first before this.
Hold on. We got one guy saying there's no difference between the top and bottom lines, and we have another guy saying there is a difference, and it's because it's out of focus. Which one? You guys need to make up your mind.
No, God.
No, I'm the same guy. Yeah, I'm the same guy, by the way, who said both of those things, but not in the way that you just said them.
Yeah. One guy literally just said that all the lines are the same thickness. No, did I not just hear that?
And that may be the case. The optical effect showing that they're different sizes can be resolved. It can be resolved using Grimm's method. I'll bet you Grimm did a pixel count. He would find that a pixel count in contrast. He would find the lines are the same size.
I took a ruler to these lines. They're not the same size.
Show me where you measured from.
What you guys are talking about?
Show me where you measured from and to. I have documented what I did in these two screenshots.
Lemon said you didn't go up far enough on the top line, and you manipulated it biasly.
Yeah, you're missing part in the top line. It looks like you didn't measure enough. When you measure it enough, it's beyond 20
that's
pixels.
That's a beveled edge you're seeing there. So I'm measuring the flat bit of the front, not the curve over the top. And I'm not measuring the dark bit of shadow down there.
You're taking away arbitrary parts of the line, and it's making your measurement off.
Well, guess what? This one helps your argument.
These lines have a hard edge. This isn't a rounded.
We need a better photo.
This J block is 90 degrees.
Rounded.
This J block is 90 degrees. Jesus Christ! Go ahead.
It's out of focus, so you can see that's why you need a better photo, because the J and the
lines are different.
Contrast and go with the contrast in the contrasted photo and measure from there to get the red out, the red part of the line.
If it's in focus, why is it all blurry? That's all I got to say.
Are the lines different?
Change the contrast and measure the photo.
Come on.
Lemon, look at the photo at 8:27 a.m. Is that blurry or is that crystal clear?
Are the lines
change the contrast and measure the freaking photo then?
Blurry.
Why are y'all worried about
the
top and bottom?
Why are you going to measure a blurry, out of focus photo? It's clearly not representing what's there.
Guys, this is weak. Change the contrast and measure the photo properly, TT guy, or whoever the hell is trying to measure this thing by pixels. And don't cut out the part that you think is beveled arbitrarily. That's silly.
Well, let's take clear photos too, by the way. Let's not give us blurry photos because you obviously can't measure the blur on a photo. Let's do that.
Okay, are the lines different? Are the lines different thicknesses because the photo it's out of focus, or are they the same thickness and everything's fine?
Well, the question is,
you guys have to make up your mind, please. Let me know when you do.
We'll get it in focus and then we'll talk.
Yep.
No, let me know if it's out of focus and the lines are different.
Jeremy, if you can give us just,
or let
see
me
that
know
it's out of focus.
Yo,
Jeremy, we can help. We can help out with this if you can give us just a flat, purely focused camera shot, so we can measure the number of pixels that each line is from close up. That's a good place to start.
The sides are the same as the bottom. Why is it that no one's noticed that?
why is it the bottom's thinner? Why is the bottom?
The bottom isn't thinner than the sides.
Is the bottom thinner than the top part? The angle we're looking
Who
for this
cares?
angle.
So, your claim requires the top and the bottom. That's basically it's misdirection. The sides are the exact same as the bottom.
We're not looking at the sides. We're looking at the top and
yes,
bottom.
I know. That's why I said it was misdirection.
Why is it misdirection? We're showing how things disappear bottom up.
It's not though.
At the bottom and the top. When have we ever when have we ever examined the sides of the ship?
This
Jeremy,
supposedly disappearing.
validates your claim.
Yeah, Jeremy, it's a very good point. Are the sides of are the red sides the same width as the top and bottom?
How often are we checking the sides of the skyscraper or the sides of the ship? This is ridiculous.
Dude,
you guys are being absolutely ridiculous.
You don't like it, but the sides are the exact same as the bottom, and just as you
the sides is non sequitur.
Like it, or
sides of
do
this
you love
is
it?
non
No,
sequitur.
sure it is. That means the whole goddamn thing is blurry and out of focus.
These people are desperate. They're talking about focus. They're not fully measuring the top. They're desperate. So let's just come with some other evidence.
It's clear.
Listen to them squirm, Lemon.
You're just ignoring that it's out of focus. You're clearly ignoring that it's out of focus, and you're not trying to fix that problem. And that's what's dishonest about this whole thing, because if you're trying to adjust the variables to find out what's going on, why wouldn't focus be one of your variables? God damn it.
Anyway,
Jeremy, eventually you can't focus the image anyway.
Please.
Shit.
See, we're not trying to tear it apart. We're trying to examine its constituent pieces, and we need extra information to do this. And you're fighting on giving us any additional information or allowing us to examine this. You're just saying, I presented it, accept it, I win. That's not what this is about. We're trying to investigate something that you've recorded as a phenomenon.
I asked you to do something specific, and, because I'd like to see your, results, how you got to those results. I've already done all this. I already know the answer, dude. That's not even a problem. That's not the issue.
Is why
I'm trying to get you to come to the answer. Yeah.
The thing is, this is why peer review is a little crap, because you guys are really, really stubborn and closed-minded, and getting peer review with a bunch of people that are closed-minded is just no good. You're just not seeing it. And then we have to jump through all these hoops, making different experimental design to satisfy you guys.
No, you're actually trying to control the experiment and manipulate an experiment by not accepting other people's advice on what to move around as variables.
Okay, have you guys decided if the bottom and top lines are the same thickness or it's different thickness because it's out of focus?
You need to pick. You
need to pick one.
You're actually
I'm
trolling.
not trolling.
Yeah, of course you are, dude.
You need to pick one.
We already told you what our next move was, and you decided not to do it.
I don't know what your next move is, because one person's telling me they're the same thickness, and the other person is saying they're different
we all
thickness
agree
because it's out of focus.
Yeah, but we all agreed for you to take. We all agreed.
Which
we all agreed
which
for
one
you to
of you
take a
is
new
going to be
photo.
wrong here?
TT guy measured it, and he showed the pixels, but he didn't measure the top part enough. He cut out arbitrary parts of the line, saying that it's beveled or some crap. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is getting disturbing. There's obvious parts that you can see when you eyeball it that aren't being measured by TT Guy at 1142. Measure the full thing with some contrast or something. This is just so freaking arbitrary. What the hell?
What the hell? It's more arbitrary that he won't give us a clear photo in the first place.
Jeremy, easiest thing to do. One, turn the block on its side, so the J is horizontal. Put a white piece of paper behind it. That way, the contrast is visible. Then take a nice photo like you did before. You have the camera, obviously. You should have at least one piece of paper in your whole house. And turning this block sideways shouldn't be too difficult. If you're right, then it will be apparent.
And you could clearly see the blurriness of that photo. Even on the very left of the three that are put together, the one with the white line on it, the J is there. Even on the very left, you can see how the top is blurred, and you can see how the red line is even being stretched towards the top and out the sides. It's fucking clear as day. Get the fuck out of here. It's like you're running around with piss on your pants saying, I didn't pee my pants.
Jeremy is making the point very well that the lines are converging over a flat surface, and it appears to be interpreted by the sensors and the optic and rendered as a 2D image with obstruction. His point is being made, and we can't keep kicking the can down
I wish he was,
and making
because I'd like
peer-review
to throw some
excuses
shit
for
in these
what is
guys'
an
faces,
obvious
too.
phenomenon.
This ain't it. This just ain't it.
But
Sensors don't interpret things.
There's a poor issue.
I mean, you had to cut
here,
off
Roman.
part of the top line to make your point and cut out pixels to try to make your point that the lines are equal or whatever, that the bottom line is actually more pixels than the top. This is desperate.
No,
Just look into whether or not things are converging into the eye level of the observer.
It's blurry, dude. Be honest. Stop the bullshit, man. If it's blurry, you know you're not actually looking at what's there. You're looking at an artifact of the camera. So stop nonsensing us to death.
Yeah, blurry, and there's shadows, and it's a beveled edge. You can't see the exact point. You can't, So
it's not that blurry. The phenomenon is clearly visible for those with eyes to see, and no amount of peer review poo-pooing and ha-haing or whatever. And
And
get rid of that.
shows a whole 2 pixel difference where I drew these this time. Giving you guys the best,
benefit.
The benefit.
Can I say something?
First of all, hold on, Rocky, real quick. First of all, the edge is not beveled. It comes to a 90-degree angle where the red meets the other part of the block. This is not a beveled edge. Please stop saying
beveled
that.
edge. You can clearly see a beveled edge.
It's a child block. It's not going to have sharp corners.
I get what your point is, though, because you're saying just one of the blocks is out of focus the time he took that picture at that angle? I mean, because he took 2 other pictures of the blocks and they're not out of focus or not missing the bottom. It seems to be due to focusing and angles, and you're just focusing in on the focus, what he did wrong, instead of talking about how light may react to the different angle. I don't get that part.
That's not how that works.
Oh no, that's actually what we talked about the very first when he was like, "Is it angle or is it focus?" I said it's obviously both because light comes in at all angles. Yeah,
I agree. That's what it could be. I don't know if it's out of focus or not. It could be just the angle, or it could be just the focus, or it could be both. But y'all seem, the other guys seem to be really hammering.
Well, if it's out of focus, then the angle moves. If it's out of focus, it's out of angle.
Let me explain to Rocky what happened real quick. Let me explain to Rocky. I took a picture of this block all the way across the table, right?
How far?
Then I opened that picture. It's like 6 feet.
He said. You don't listen.
About. Then I opened that picture
everything
up.
needs to
Hold
be
on,
measured
I'm right in the
to
middle
measure.
Of this. Yo,
okay, will you let him talk? Or...
Picture this block on the other side of my table, right? I opened that picture up, zoomed in on it, took a screenshot of that pic, and I kept doing that. That's how we got that.
I haven't even zoomed the camera. This is just an optical zoom.
Finish?
Out of focus.
That's how all my pictures came about, except for the one where I'm looking straight down on it.
I got you.
All my pictures came from me, just that one picture of the block far away. It's all zoomed in after that, a zoom of a picture.
Yeah, I can tell you, when you do that and take snapshots, you're going to lose pixels. You're going to lose what they're calling focus, but it's actually distortion, of the pixels. which is, I mean, you can call that focus, but I wouldn't suggest you do that, right?
Yeah, you want to clearly focus
We're not
on the
even
object
really
you're looking
talking
at.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, Rakhi
We're
just
talking
said a
about
huge point.
Distance gets further, we're going to lose information from the bottom first due to angular resolution, due to some angle of light stuff.
That's
how
still not
lenses,
how that works, Rakhi.
How lenses, you never let anyone finish. You never let anybody finish and then review them. You always cut them off so their point gets distorted. So I don't understand that. But when
Because you're
making
making 90 points, but you're skipping over the most important issue.
I've talked literally 1 minute out of this last hour. And you've
Okay, then allow him 1 to 2 points and then cut in go.
And then when you go into the atmosphere, oh my goodness. And you've cut all 3. So when you take this phenomena out into the atmosphere, then you start getting into not only angle, light resolution, focus, and all that, but you start entering into atmospheric effects. So, the combination thereof makes it disappear.
In houses. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the issue, right? First of all, you cannot crop images and expect the pixel density to be exactly the same. Secondly, which everyone's overlooking, right? What is the pixel density of the original photo, and was it transferred in its entirety, full file size, to the chat? You're trying to analyze an image before even understanding if the image is true and represented. Third, how are you measuring something without a frame of reference, Jeremy?
I like you, man.
First image is sharp enough to tell, right?
It's not. You can't measure something without a frame of reference.
Yeah, but the bottom and the top are the same size. So if
okay, what is the original pixel density of the original image? What was the pixel density? It doesn't matter as long
as they're the same. But you're right
if you're counting pixels, I'm pretty sure the transfer of pixel density matters.
You're not counting pixels. You're counting the difference
per file.
Oh my god!
Pixels per file or what? What do you mean?
That's a perfect band name.
You're counting the pixel difference. Like there's less pixels on the bottom is what he's saying as he zoomed in and cropped his picture. I agree you shouldn't do that for this experiment. You shouldn't be doing that.
We're giving Jeremy the benefit of the doubt, not being a liar, not being a deceiver, and saying that he basically just took a picture over a table to demonstrate a phenomenon of the object merging into the surface at the eye level of the camera, it appears. The rest of this stuff is very technical, but he may not have been focusing on that.
Yeah,
so we should do this on a phantom black table because any reflection off the table can distort the original image.
Yeah, he's obviously
it's clearly seen that Jeremy took the picture on a shiny table. So for the past hour, we're talking about an image that doesn't hold weight to even be studied. Right? If you're going to do this properly, it has to be on a phantom black table with no reflection. It has to have a frame of reference. The light source has to be singular. Right? You can't have open blinds and ceiling lights. Right?
That
all this is
better, but it doesn't mean that Jeremy's test is something we can't talk about. What you're talking about is something that would be better, but Jeremy's test we can still break down. We just have to be fair with him. He's being
right, but we can't come to a conclusion that Ben is extrapolated to the shape of the Earth based on someone's little picture. And I'm saying that if there's a 1 pixel density difference, there can be 90 different explanations for this. So instead of if you want to speculate, that's fine, but this doesn't show proof of anything because the test is not conclusive.
I agree with that.
Design, and this is getting kind of technical, but do we have to do all these peer-reviewed technicalities before we explore the mechanism of stuff merging into the surface at eye level? Can't we just explore that without all this technicality, though? I mean, we're trying to do these experiments on a budget. We're busy people. Now he's got to put a black thing on his freaking table to do a freaking experiment. I mean, this stuff can get so technical. Could we just explore this phenomenon?
Yeah, Lemon, here's why it needs to get technical, right? I've been listening for the past hour. No one even talked about the reflection off the table, right?
Yes,
we haven't considered.
Did. Yes, you missed it. You haven't been here.
I'm sorry. Then,
obviously, mirroring and reflecting, I said it goes over the viewer height. At some point, the information does. I call it information. Y'all call it photons or light. I don't know what it is. I just know it's info.
Additionally, right, we haven't talked about. Oh, there was talked about multiple light sources, like.
We actually have
Lemon, you have to have peer-reviewed evidence because
there's a psychological phenomenon that happens when you are trying to prove something. You will overlook certain characteristics to further your point. So peer review allows for us to examine the mistakes made in the experiment.
Yeah,
we have just shown 80 mistakes that can alter the results, right? Which means that the conclusion cannot be solid. So
But
yes,
the thing
peer
can
review
happen in peer
evidence
review
is
too.
needed.
But that can happen in peer review too. Sometimes the peer review committee can be so close-minded or so paid by the people that they're shilling for that they refuse to make the connections and refuse
what
to
I'm thinking
accept
about
it into
you
the
at this
science
moment.
lexicon. So it can go
Yeah, I'm
either
thinking
Your
that
way.
about you.
conspiracy theories don't hold any
Like,
weight to
I'm almost
refute
starting
that
to
argument.
think that about
conspiracy. It's
you,
just
Lemon,
bias.
because
That's human nature. It's not a conspiracy.
what's the problem with just
How
us
many peer
asking to
reviewed
take
papers
clearer pictures?
and it's published?
Pardon me, I didn't mean to interrupt you on that one.
Nothing's wrong with doing what either person is saying. Nothing's wrong with that.
Just
But also,
pictures.
I'd like to add something. I believe, and this is something that I've looked into. Let's say the light source is behind the object, silhouetting it, I think is what it's called, whatever. But the light source is directly behind it. You're going to see more of that object normally than if the light source is at a different angle to the side or over the top. So that's why I talk about angles and angles of the light source. But I know for a fact, I mean, you can't tell me any different that when I go out on certain days, I get bottom up obstruction like out the wazoo. Everything is obstructed. And then 2 days later, I can go to the same spot with the same camera under different conditions and see more of the object, like, down further. So obviously, its atmospheric conditions are also affecting things like that. You can't tell me any different.
No,
well, not everybody lives where you live, though. So the temperatures aren't.
Everybody
the same.
lives in the atmosphere. I'm talking about your constant.
Yeah, but if you're having that dramatic and drastic of a change over such a short time, then there could be that you live in a place that has,
limiting
some
yourself
more
though to
severe
temperature
ground to air temperature differences than
It's
other
not
places.
just. I hear that every day. I hear that every day, all day from y'all.
Cool,
It's
then you
not
probably
just
should.
temperature.
Y'all.
It is not just temperature. Yeah, y'all. It's a Southern term meaning you.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was plural. It was a plural form, and I wanted to know who I was being conjoined with.
Yeah, whatever. If you want to go there, but what I'm saying is, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself to just temperature variation. It's not just that. There's many factors. I think that's a mistake made. Well, you can name them too, but I think that's the mistake being made where it's just what was the
many
temperature?
factors, but when the temperature changes, those other factors then are allowed to change. So when we say temperature, we don't mean limited to only temperature, but we mean temperature is the variable that changes all those other factors to come into play, like the density of the medium that you're referring to. So when the temperature changes, so does then the density of that medium. Am I not correct, or what's going on here?
Well, I don't know. You can have
so to say temperature, can't we just be colloquial about the whole thing and say temperature, because we obviously know that what comes after temperature is the rest of everything we're talking about.
So we went from being very particular, having black this, and being very precise to let's just call it temperature variation. No, it's humidity, wind, mist, evaporation, wave height, and about 10 other things that I'm sure some of the smart people here like blue tonight. Yeah. So it's not just temperature. I don't know if humidity has anything to do with temperature or not. It could be pressure.
Humidity just distorts the air, but not in any one direction.
Yeah, just distortion.
Particularly, it can do it, and it does it all evenly.
Sure,
basically.
I get it.
That's good, Rocky. Make a table of all that stuff that you just mentioned. And when you make observations, record the data. And then you might be able to use that and figure something out.
That wasn't what I said. I said we observed this happening.
Is
this for you, Blue Marble? I'll tell you what. Make a table of what's hiding that helicopter.
That's how you rope a dope.
Yeah.
What's with you in the helicopter, Rocky?
Because
you really hate that helicopter, don't you?
No, I love it. It exposes you. When you say it's just Earth curve, it's Earth curve.
I didn't say
just like
anything.
It was blocking the strikes.
Yeah, you did.
Sure you did. I asked you very point blank, what's blocking the helicopter? You said Earth curve. So that's not me saying it. I would never. I don't
have the video. You got the video. You won't tell me where to find the damn video. I don't know where it is. All I see are stills that you've shown me.
So you just said Earth curve without knowing?
You asked me what
blurted out Earth
I
curve?
said Earth curve. Yeah, Earth curve can block the helicopter. Absolutely,
so you
it
did
can.
say Earth curve because a while ago you said you never
Yeah,
said
yes,
Earth
I
curve.
must have. I think I
It
just said
depends
it
on how
again.
you ask the question, Rocky. If you say what
It
could
was
block
very
that
point blank.
helicopter,
What's blocking the
Earth curve
helicopter?
could
You
block
said Earth
that
curve.
helicopter.
No, I said what is blocking the helicopter? Blue Marble, what is blocking the helicopter? Earth
You're making a big
curve.
deal about a Nat Geo special. I don't have any dog in that damn fight, buddy.
I'm
I
holding your
don't
feet
really
to the
give a
fire,
shit one way or the
buddy,
other
and
with
I'm
it.
not your buddy. I don't butt around with people who
So
are
what happened?
disingenuous
Did
and
it
who,
come?
from one second
What
to the other,
happened
tell
then?
something
Did
different.
we find out it wasn't Earth curvature or something?
Well, we sure
What
found out
happened?
it wasn't Earth curve on the stripes on the boat that Blue Marble said was Earth
Oh,
curve.
hey,
before.
did we,
Yeah, but
Rocky?
what
I've
about the
never seen the
helicopter,
I've not
though?
seen the video.
Well, you
Where is
said
the
it
whole
was
video?
waves now. You changed your mind to waves now,
No,
Blue
I
Marble.
said,
Which is it?
I
This is
said in
exactly
the
what
You
happens
in
seem
when
to
you
forget
screenshot
what you
provided.
say.
Coonasses
Rocky,
get
I
their,
said
get
in
their
the
heads so
screenshot
far
you
up their ass
provided.
they
I
can't
haven't
see.
seen the whole video. I don't know if that boat got beyond the horizon or not, but I don't have the video. All I've got is the one screenshot you claim is the example.
So without the video, you said Earth curve, and then later on said waves. Is that what you're saying? Is that your statement today, Blue Marble?
The screenshot that you provided, it is the waves.
But before you said with the same screenshot, you said Earth curve.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
100% you did.
No, I didn't.
100% on Sean G's channel. You said Earth curve. I was on the way back from Gulf Shores, Alabama one night. I remember it so vividly, so I held your feet to the fire.
You're just
lying. I knew you were
No, he
being
didn't.
deceptive. Sure, he did.
No, he didn't, Recky. You didn't say that, Recky. Don't lie. You do
And
that
then
a lot.
a month or two ago, he changed his mind when I held his feet to the fire that it was waves.
You didn't hold
I
my
congratulated
feet to the fire,
him.
pal.
Then I congratulated him on being honest.
All you
Then
did
I
is tell me a
congratulated
screenshot and you tell me
Buddy, your feet to the
invite.
fire, and for being
based on
honest.
that
I thank you
screenshot,
for
then
being
I'll say
honest.
there's nothing
And
there.
then I asked you
All
my
right,
next
fellas,
question:
calm
what's
down.
blocking the
On the
helicopter?
horizon.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
not
blocking
looking
the
at a
helicopter
video,
now?
Rocky.
Your
I'm
mic
looking
Now
is
at what
that you
gaining out.
admitted that it was
Your mic is
waves
gaining
blocking
out,
the
man.
stripes. Now that
Your
you
mic
admitted
is
that it was
gaining.
waves blocking the stripes,
you're just being
then
a
I moved
jackass,
on to
Rocky.
the same Nat Geo
As
video that
usual,
shows the
just being a
helicopter. Yeah, as usual. You're the one who's doublespeak here,
Yo,
not me.
your mic is gaining out on us, bro. You're killing me here.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, back up a little and yell.
So when he admitted that it was waves, I congratulated him for being
I didn't
honest.
admit anything, Rocky.
Yes, you did.
I did. I told you what I saw in that still picture.
Okay, you think it's
Admission of
waves now.
anything.
Yeah. And I congratulated you on saying that. And then I said, okay, so now let's move on to the helicopter. What's blocking the helicopter in the same video? You said
I have not
Earth
seen a
curve.
picture of the damn helicopter, Rocky.
Then why'd you say Earth curve?
You asked me what could have blocked it.
No,
That's
I didn't.
one
I
thing
said
that could have blocked
what is
Rocky.
blocking? Very specific question. I even said it 3 or 4 times. So someone like you that might be a little hard of hearing
I don't give a
knew what I was talking
about any of that, Rocky. You just gotta. You really need to get some help about this one. If you got a problem with it, go take it
You're
up
being
with Nat Geo. I didn't
disingenuous.
see the video. I didn't make the special, and I don't give a
didn't say you
crap what
did.
they do.
I never claimed you did. I asked you a very specific point about the video, and you said Earth curve.
Anything else to do tomorrow?
Like you always do. Like you have to.
I asked you the same question, and you said there are a lot of things that could have made the helicopter disappear.
Sure.
And
That's
you won't
me
tell
being
me
honest.
a single one of them. Now, who's being a disingenuous fuck here, Rocky? I'd say it's you.
I'm not. No, I'm being as honest. I'm saying it could be many things.
You are.
And I think it could be photoshopped also.
Okay, show it to us. That's
you
what I've
go
been
look
asking
at it.
for, and you won't do it. You won't do it
For
because
you,
you can't.
for you, Blue. Hey, for you, Blue. No.
You won't do it because you can't do it.
There's plenty of videos out there. I don't have to crop it for you. I don't have to do anything for you, actually. And for you, no. How many times did you double speak just in the last 5 minutes? No, I didn't say that. Yes, I said that. No, I didn't say that.
Not one damn
okay.
time.
Yeah, I busted you again.
No, you didn't bust me. You've never busted me. You don't
you
have
say
the
it was Earth
brains
curve,
to
sir?
bust me, boy.
Did you say it was Earth curve, boy? Go Vols.
asshole.
Is it Earth curve? Or you want to say you
Yeah.
haven't seen the video now?
It's
No,
Earth
I
curve
haven't
makes
seen the video now.
It's Earth
Then
curve
why'd
makes
you
the
answer
waves.
Earth curve before?
Well,
You
that's
asked
what
me
makes the
things that
waves.
could have caused it to disappear.
No,
and I
I
told
didn't.
you one of them.
No, I didn't. You're lying. I said, what
I'm not
is
lying. You're lying.
blocking
You're
the
a liar,
helicopter?
Rocky.
Earth curve.
That's all.
Blocking
You
the
are a
helicopter?
liar.
What
That's
is?
all there is to
No,
it.
what is? Very specific.
Earth
I'm
curve.
very specific with my question to you because I want to hear your answer. And you said very simply and very quickly, Earth curve. After admitting that on the
No, I
stripes,
didn't. Right.
it could be
No,
waves.
you're hearing it all. You're
I'm very
misrepresenting everything that was being said.
What is
100%.
happening here? What
That's
is
enough.
happening here?
100%.
No,
It was you.
100%.
Unless someone's
you're
impersonating you.
absolutely lying about
Do
this.
you have an
100%,
impersonator? Or
I'm
are
gonna
you
say it
just
again.
high or
the
drunk
video.
sometimes and you can't remember what you've said?
You said what could be causing the
Oh my
helicopter
God,
to
that's
disappear.
enough.
One
Do
thing
you
could
drink,
be Earth
sir?
curve.
Do
There
you
could be other
drink?
things, right?
Do
You
you
also
drink,
said
sir?
there were other things. You
Do
wouldn't
you
name
drink,
one
sir?
of them.
Do you
All
drink?
right, man. We're gonna allow
Do I
this
drink?
Maybe
No, I
you're
don't.
trolling to
forgetting.
continue.
Maybe your
No,
memory
I
is
don't,
shot.
Rocky. As a matter of fact, I do not. Do
Well,
you?
maybe it's just your memory then.
Do you? Do you drink, Rocky? Do you smoke?
No, I haven't drank in 25 years. I've never smoked in my life. Anything else you want to ask me, Blue? Because if you ask me 6 months from now, I'll tell you the same thing. You know why? It's easy to tell the truth.
But you gotta lay off the prescription meds, though, brother.
Yeah,
I don't take prescriptions. 25 years I've been off
something.
prescription meds. I don't have a doctor. Don't need one. Anything else y'all want to ask me?
Oh, what's your favorite color?
Probably blue. Don't really have one. My boat is turquoise. I kind of like that color.
Oh, nice.
Headed there now.
Jeremy the Disruptor. Back to your fucking defense mode, are you? Now you're just jumping in back up like a third man.
No, I'm in
Like
fighting deception mode. Calling people out for double speak.
Jumps into disrupt. On you, Jeremy, you shifty little cunt.
I'm not disrupting, he said.
And I don't
You
double
are.
speak. You can ask me the same question over and
No,
over
that's
again.
Rocky.
Yeah, you got the wrong person. Y'all seem to drink a lot.
Did you have
That's
any
a very
questions for Rocky?
aggressive
Feel free.
comment. You should apologize for that.
It keeps projecting.
Instead of
You drink a
addressing
lot.
my the question I asked Rocky, yeah, you can ask him your own question.
Hey, Rocky, I'll ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Is relative density a replacement for a constant downward force?
I don't know. I think we have a downward force that can be measured. Is it constant? No. Do we give it an average speed? Yes. Seems to be relative to altitude, pressure, density, the medium.
The medium.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Yeah, because if you drop a bowling ball in the air, it's going to fall at a certain rate. When it hits water, it's going to start falling at a different rate. Would you agree?
Right. But you do know that there are different mediums of the air, right?
You do know that what I said is correct. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
just saying.
Yeah, and absolutely, there's different densities of the air, of course.
Yeah,
That's why I said
cool.
altitude seems to be a factor along with pressure in that constant speed, rate of fall that you like to claim. It's not constant. What's causing it? I don't know. Seems to have an up or down. Yeah, seems to be.
Oh, whoa.
That
Things
seems
go up at a constant rate?
Oh, you think you got me?
No,
You said up
you
or
just
down?
said. Yeah,
I
you said
never
up
said
or down.
anything about. No, I never. I said there
You
seems
just said
to
up or
be
down.
an up or
You
down.
just said up and down. I have 47
Yes,
witnesses
I
that
will
can say that you
repeat
said
my
up.
statement word for word. There seems
Exactly
to
what he does
be
to me. He says it,
an
and
up
then he
or
turns
down.
around
I didn't
and
say
double-
anything
you
about a
said up or
constant
down.
That's not double
acceleration.
speak, Rocky.
So-
This
I
is
didn't
up
say
or down?
anything about
You got
acceleration up or
rope-a-doped,
down.
bro.
There
You
is
just got
things
rope-a-doped.
do go up at a certain
Ding,
speed. I
ding,
guess
ding.
buoyancy.
Rocky loses.
double
I
Sorry,
speak.
lose.
You
just
guys,
messing
thank
around.
you. That was a
There's an
quick
up and
kill
down.
shot.
You want me to say it again? There's an up or down. Did I
That's-
say acceleration in
No,
there?
it was like a
Yes, you
uppercut.
did. You
No, I
did. We were
didn't. I
talking about.
never mentioned and upward acceleration. I'll do what I do.
You tried to make it.
Stop double speaking. Let me finish my point. We were talking about constant acceleration, right?
Yeah,
Why the
downward,
fuck would you tell me
downward? We were talking about downward.
Oh, you want to double speak?
No matter which way it goes, up or down.
I did not say that. I said there seems to be an up
Let's take
or
a quick
down.
poll. Let's do a
I don't
quick
care what
poll.
y'all say. I know what I meant. I know what I said. I'm repeating it word for word, and it didn't mention
Getting
acceleration.
a little hot there, buddy.
I'm just holding your feet to the fire, dude. That's
You can
all.
hold my feet to the fire. I'm cool as a cucumber, sir. Ready to go.
You don't seem
You ready,
cool.
Blue? Hey, go Vols. Oh, I am cool.
That's why all the
This is
gain.
me-
You're so cool
this
that
is
the
me
gain on your
being
microphone
cool,
is
sir.
exploding.
Guys,
This is me
his
being
world
cool.
around him is falling apart, and he's struggling to
No, my world
find.
is fine. My
I
world
don't
is
think
fine.
so.
No, I believe me. Trust me. I'm all good, sir. Full of joy.
Okay, so can I finish? Or
Sure.
no? Would you like to retract your statement?
Nope. I'm still going to say there seems to be an up or down, which I wasn't talking about acceleration.
So
I
why
talked
would you-
about your.
Okay.
I talked about. Can you let me finish? I talked about your so-called constant acceleration downward, and then I said there seems to be an up or down in our world. I didn't say world.
And a left and
there
right,
seems
and
to
a
be an
that
up or
way
down.
and
I
this
wasn't-
way?
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah, and I'm not talking, when I
acceleration
say
that
left or
seems to
right,
be
I'm
an
not
up or
talking about
down.
acceleration, which has nothing to do with acceleration when I was saying that.
Okay, fine. I'll
So
let
if
the
you want to
populace.
continue, if you want to continue from here, fine. Don't
Okay.
put words in my mouth.
I was using the words that came out of your mouth.
Yeah, seems to be an up or down. Nothing to do with acceleration. I'm talking about
Okay, why
things
does
move
okay?
up
I
and
said
down.
okay.
Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
okay.
You want to retract now, sir?
You said,
Oh, absolutely
you just
not.
said I'm not talking about acceleration. I'm talking about why things move up or down, which is literally an acceleration. So which one is it? Ask for brains.
No, I'm saying why things can go up or down. I'm not attributing acceleration to that. I'm just saying there seems to be an up or down in our world. What
There
causes
seems to
that?
be
I
an
don't
up or
know.
down acceleration. If there's something moving
Whatever you
up
want
or
to
down,
call it.
right?
We were talking about
Well, that's what
constant
it is.
acceleration.
So you were talking about that. You just tried to weasel out of it.
I'm not trying to weasel out
With
anything.
all that
That's not what I meant.
posturing and nonsense.
No, I was just trying to say there's a sky and a
ad
ground.
hockery.
No, I was saying there's a sky and a ground, up and down. I wasn't saying anything about movement. So you want to retract,
Except there's
sir?
an up or down because the things move up or down.
Well, you can say that.
That's
I might
exactly
agree with that.
why would I
I'm
want to
not
retract
disagreeing with you.
that?
I'm not
That's
disagreeing
an
with you.
acceleration.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that's not what I was saying at the time.
Well, this is another
I don't think we believe you.
Anything else y'all want to try and get me on?
So let's just play back the tape.
Go ahead.
Well,
you're going to divine my
Thank you.
thoughts by the tape? Or
No,
you want to
no,
ask me something else?
No, we can definitively prove something with
boy.
evidence.
I've already conceded that I wasn't talking about acceleration at the time. I was talking about the upward sky and the downward
I wish to disagree. So I
if
will.
you
I
want
like
to
to
move
challenge
on,
this.
and if you want to move on, you can ask me something else. If not, go review your tape and do whatever you want if that floats your boat.
Okay. Does someone have access to this YouTube link so I can click it?
Are y'all that desperate to have me be wrong? Is that y'all's world you live in?
No, I live in the world of
I don't
facts.
even know you, dude.
I have
Just
evidence to
having a conversation
prove.
with somebody who's trying to
I
bullshit.
already explained how I wasn't talking about acceleration or movement at the time I said up or down.
Maybe you should be
Well,
more
cool.
careful.
I
What
don't
point
mind. I'm
don't you
done.
get?
I don't care. I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's not
moving
that I don't
on.
get it. You were wrong. You get it.
Right. Whatever. Like I said, you need me to be wrong and be a liar. Go right ahead. I'm fine with that.
Well,
Anything
this
else
is
you want
another.
to ask?
No,
Well,
the only
this is-
reason I said it is because I can tell you're not fine with it. I'm just fucking with you, dude. It was
No, I'm
Just-
all good.
Well-
I'm cool.
classic.
This is another problem with peer review. It rewards entrenched thinking and entrenched systems. If you have a revolutionary paper, on Flat Earth or whatever that threatens to upend the apple cart in their system, they'll try to twist it to conform to their old system and or outright reject it. And so even if it's right, if it upends the apple cart, it tends to be rejected in these entrenched systems. So
Jimmy, so you
the
wanna
corruption of peer review must also get correct.
It has to explain everything else we already explained with the globe. It has to explain it equally well, and it doesn't. So that's why it doesn't upend the entire system, because it can't upend the entire system because it leaves lots of other things unexplained or contradictory.
Well, look at what happened with Freud when he tried to dare to assert in his findings back in like the 1800s or whatever, that 1800s, early 1900s, that a lot of the neurological problems and a lot of the neuroses he was seeing was the result of people who had suffered abuse, sexual abuse at the hands of their parents. To keep his place in society, they said, you change this finding or else. So it came up with the Oedipus complex and other things to replace, what was otherwise, blatantly apparent that these people had suffered sexual abuse at the hands of their parents. And it was, effing up these, people into their, later lives. And now we're finding out how rampant, sexual abuse is in the elite circles and the higher circles and society with the adrenochrome, the Pizzagate, so having to change these findings has had, world.
Dear. Get that Q shit out of here, man.
So, Ricky, I just listened to the tape, and I have to say you are wrong, sir.
Congratulations. Never mentioned acceleration.
You should be more careful with your words, Ricky.
Your sentence started as follows. There seems to be a constant acceleration.
No, you cannot say that. You cannot say a constant acceleration up and down. I never said that.
I said your sentence started with the following, and I was repeating back what your sentence says. Would you like to go listen with me?
No, just go replay it right here. Make sure you rewind it to the part where I said your seemingly constant acceleration on a downward motion isn't constant. It's dependent on the medium, and it's an average, and has to do with pressure, altitude, density, the friction, things like that.
Oh.
So rewind it all the way, right?
I was saying your sentence start. You're not going to win this, bud.
No, go ahead and replay it. Just like I said, rewind it all the way.
My speakers are being used right now.
Replay it all the way when you said the downward speed is a constant.
I don't have available speakers right now.
Then screw off.
I'm in a meeting or training seminar.
Then piss off.
Rocky, you seem angry.
I'm all good. I'm going forward that vision. Anything else y'all want to move on from, since you don't have speakers to replay it? He's just claiming what I said.
I just listened to it.
He's gonna do it.
Can you post it with the time code on it?
Sure.
It was at that moment it was -6 minutes and 12 seconds.
Repeat